Thank you for joining today's episode of QA Bytes. Today we're continuing our series of common test automation issues and we'll be discussing reliability and maintenance. This is probably one of the areas that is most commonly thought of when thinking about test automation issues, and for good reason. Many organizations spend more time maintaining their test suites than they do testing. The most common symptom is an inability to keep up with application changes. The most important thing you can do to minimize maintenance is only automate the right things. We can discuss what the right things are for hours, but to take the time to think about all your testing activities and where automation can provide the most value. And certainly don't blindly set out to automate your existing manual test cases verbatim. If they were well written for manual execution, they probably shouldn't be automated that way. Second, don't reinvent the wheel each time you look to add automation to a project. There are common things you need in every implementation that are independent of the application you are testing. Architect your framework such that these common activities form a core layer that can be reused across all your automation implementations. Finally, compartmentalize your maintenance by building modular testing functions. What those modules look like, how big or how small they are, of course depends on your application and test objectives. The goal is to be in a place where if something in your application changes, you've contained the impact to your framework as much as possible. Now, this next topic is unique to those implementing automation across multiple UI technologies. This might include legacy technologies, browser technologies, as well as mobile platforms. There's a good number of interface controls that are common across all these various UIs. One thing that we found to be a large effort over the years is dealing with the technical differences in the way the controls need to be interacted with across each UI technology. In addition, we want to gracefully handle any UI interaction issues. For example, an object can't be identified or a list item isn't present. So we've developed a common UI interaction layer that handles the differences for us. If we want to enter text in an input field, we just use a single command. The differences in how that is accomplished is handled under the covers for us automatically. The last thing I want to talk about is the execution report. We very often see execution reports that are almost unreadable by a human, filled with Java dumps and the like. Any issues that occur during an execution should be clearly identifiable with all pertinent information included, including screenshots if appropriate. It should not take an hour to figure out that your test failed because a UI object couldn't be identified. Your report should clearly outline what tests were executed, the environment they were executed in, and include the individual steps at the UI interaction level. This will aid immensely in quickly identifying issues, as well as the steps to reproduce them. Thank you for joining today's episode of QA Bytes. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me via email or social media. For Utopia Solutions, I'm Lee Barnes.